Ahoy, mateys. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about my experience traveling on the Carnival Mardi Gras. This is going back a few years, and I'm excited to tell you about it. Before I get into it, though, and tell you my experience and talk about some of the stuff that I noticed on the ship, let me do a little housekeeping just to get it out of the way. First off, if you would like to go on vacation, specifically a cruise, which is my specialty, maybe you'd like to go on the Carnival Mardi Gras one day, you can reach out to me in a couple different ways. One of the ways is through email. I have an email address for my business account. It is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com. Again, that is jay.paradise.travels@gmail.com. You can email me. Or you can reach out to me through social media if you'd like. I have a Instagram and Facebook account, and they're both the same handle, Jay's Paradise Travels. It's Jays, no apostrophe in there, just to make it a little easier for you. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me either through Instagram or Facebook and be happy to connect with you that way as well. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let me go ahead and tell you about my experience on the Carnival Mardi Gras. The Carnival Mardi Gras was probably one of the biggest ships that I've been on so far. Now, I do have a trip planned here later on, going on the Star of the Seas for Royal Caribbean, which will be a bigger ship. But Carnival, up until this point, is probably one of the biggest ships that I've been in. I've been on the Carnival Mardi Gras, that is. And I've been on Carnival a few times. They're probably the one that I've been on the most. I even worked directly for them at one point. However, when I went on this trip, I did not work for them at the time. I was just another cruise enthusiast, and I got to go on the Carnival Mardi Gras. This starts back, the trip that I went on, excuse me, was as we were kind of coming out of COVID. So we're looking at the fall time of like 2021. And it was a trip that my mom actually really wanted to go on this ship. She really wanted to try the roller coaster on it. And so she was looking and she found this deal. This was before I was a travel agent, was looking at deals myself. She was the one that kind of got it together. And this cruise ship will always have a special place in my heart because it was the last cruise that I got to go on with my mom before she died. So I'm happy that I got to go with her and have some memories with her. Of course, on the ship she was pretty sick, and I'm glad that she got to go. Even though she didn't get to enjoy everything that she fully wanted to, but at least she got to go, and we got to spend one last cruise with her again before she passed away. Anyways, as I mentioned, this was kind of coming out of COVID. This was near the fall of 2021. COVID hit in 2020, and pretty much cruises were done at that point, and they had just started coming back up. So it was kind of nice to be able to get it at a decent price at the time, which I was happy about. Obviously, whenever you can get a good deal on a cruise, that's always a nice thing. And because we were coming out of COVID, there was still a lot of protocols involved. When we went down there a few days early just to be safe, and we were flying standby. I still kind of had some flight benefits with the airlines at the time, which was nice. Even though because of COVID, I wasn't working with them, but I still was kind of with them at the moment. And we were able to go down there a couple days ahead of time just to be safe. And we stayed at my grandparents' place. My grandparents at the time were snowbirds. They lived in Michigan and went down for the winter time in Florida. They had a little one-bedroom condo. They let us stay in there. We all was crammed in a one-bedroom condo. That was fun, but it was only for a few days. And every morning we're going to McDonald's every morning for breakfast, and pretty much eating the same fast food every day for a few days just until we get on the ship, which I'm thinking, oh man, I can't wait to get on the ship and be able to stop eating McDonald's every morning. But as I was saying, there was a protocol. So we went down a few days at a time, and we had to find this place that was associated with the cruise line to take a COVID test just to make sure that we didn't have it. And the COVID test wasn't like they got it back to you within a few hours or anything like that. We took the test, and it wasn't until like a couple of days later we got the email results. So it was good that we went down a few days ahead of time at the time to do it. Thankfully, all this stuff is gone. You don't have to do that anymore. Um, but at the time, we did. We flew down there, had to take that COVID test, and then wait for the results, which they emailed us the results, and then eventually we had to show the emailed results to the cruise line when we boarded them. So we had to do all that. That was an interesting process to do. I'm glad that that doesn't have to be done anymore. Obviously, they're going to want you not to be sick going on the ship, but they don't require all these tests anymore, at least not that I know of. So yeah, we flew down there a few days ahead of time. We stayed with my at my grandparents' place. Now, since then, my grandparents have moved down there permanently, and they have a two-bedroom now, which makes it a little easier to stay when we go down there with them. And while we were down there and just kind of chilling out at the place, I remember pulling up a YouTube video that had kind of like a tour, a ship tour of the Carnival Mardi Gras. And at this point, the Carnival Mardi Gras was very new. And so the person who did it, I tried looking them up. I couldn't find them again. I don't remember their names. I want to say she was a travel agent. Um, her and her husband went and kind of just showed a tour of their cabin and all the different attractions and different food options, stuff that I'm going to go over eventually too. But I didn't get a chance to find her video. I'd like to give her a shout out for it, but I just wasn't able to do that. Whoever it was, appreciated that because I went in there uh, really excited, looking forward to all these different things to try on it. And interestingly enough, since then, I don't do that anymore. Now I actually like to just go on the ship and be completely surprised, not knowing, almost like going into a movie. Uh, when I go into a movie, I don't want to know anything about it. Maybe the previews. So I might do a preview of a little bit here or there, but I don't want a whole full ship tour. I just go on and I want to be completely surprised, find it all on my own. At the time, though, I didn't do that. I got to watch it. Plus, we had plenty of time to kill. We were there for a few days. And so I watched it multiple times just to get myself excited about it. And it didn't take much to get me excited about it because during all of COVID, everything was shut down and the whole world was kind of upside down and things were topsy turvy. I didn't know if we would ever get back to going on cruises again. Who knows what was going to happen at the time. Um, and so the fact that the cruises were starting to go out again and starting to um, be active again, I was excited to be able to go on it. But because of that, we were still very cautious. We still wore our masks. We had to take those tests, and we actually, at least me and my wife and my mom, we never went off in the islands at the time. We had a few stops. My dad went off once just to like get on Wi-Fi to. I forgot what he did with that. I don't know if he was posting pictures or check his messages or something. I don't know, whatever he did. But he went out. I think when we were in Cozumel, he went out briefly, went to like a little uh, cafe or something, got on the Wi-Fi for a little bit, and came back on the ship. That was it. We didn't go off the ship just to be. We were just being precautious at the time. Now, again, all that's out the window. We don't have to take tests. We don't have to wear masks. We go off on all our stops now. Um, but because of that, we were basically just going to see the ship at that point because we were on the ship the entire time without ever getting off. And it is a nice ship. If you're going to be stuck on a ship for 7 days and not get off, that's not a bad ship to go on. Anyways, the day that, so we were there a few days and just kind of hanging out, eating the same McDonald's food, all that stuff. There is a Walmart next door. We probably did pick up a couple things from Walmart just to have them, so we're not completely without stuff. Um, Oh yeah, that was it. My uncle and aunt lived down in that area. My aunt actually works for a company that helps onboard people at the piers for Carnival. And I can't remember. I think she was working that day too, but I don't remember. I don't think she was working our ship, if I remember correctly. But I think she was working that day. Well, anyways, my uncle came and picked us up and took us over there. And on that day that we went out there, we had an afternoon boarding time. I can't remember. So we left, um, noonish, something like that. And I had on my phone Michigan was playing Wisconsin. And just a little side story here with Michigan. During 2020, during the COVID year, they had an absolutely awful season, and it was just really pathetic. And then things turned around and they ended up doing well for the next few years after that. But coming up into that season, it was kind of like one of those mysteries. How are they going to do? Are they going to still do bad or still going to do poorly? They said they turned things around, but is that really going to be the case? Well, they were playing at Wisconsin, a team they haven't beat in Wisconsin in a long time. And I'm thinking this is a good test to see if whether or not they're actually legit or not. And it was kind of tight in the first half, and they ended up winning in the second half. Cool. Anyways, but I'm watching this the entire time. I'm watching it on my phone in the car ride, going up to the ship. Our uncle drops us off. We get our baggage. We say bye to him. We head on over there. We have to wait until they start letting people in, and it's a big ship, and there's thousands of people that are on this ship, and it wasn't even completely full. Like they didn't at that time because of COVID or just getting out of COVID, they weren't doing 100%. They did maybe like 70, 75%, something to that effect. And even with that, there was a lot of people. Anyways, we go over there, a lot of people, we're waiting. I'm still watching it, going back and forth, go through the whole onboarding process that you have to go through, getting onto the ship. I'm watching it. We get up and we find ourselves near Guy Fieri's Burgers, and my family wants to eat and before and try to get our rooms and all that stuff. And I'm getting annoyed because I just want to watch it. And as soon as I walked onto the ship, I don't know if there's some sort of signal blocker or what's going on. Like you're automatically stepping on the international waters. It's like no, we're in the harbor, we're in the pier. It was giving me the hardest time to get the game. Thankfully, I was able to manage to get it, which I'm glad. But it took a bit of time, and I was getting real frustrated with it and getting in a bad mood about it. And so people are asking me, trying to make decisions, what to eat, what to do. I was like, I don't know, I don't care. I just want to watch this. Yeah, so that happened. And after a while, they're like, all right, just let him finish the game, and then and sure enough, they won, and they won big on the road. It wasn't just like they squeaked it out. They won big on the road, which showed to me like, hey, okay, now they are maybe going to be legit, and they ended up being legit for a few years after that. And so I'm glad that they won because had they would have lost that game, that probably would have just put a nice little dark cloud on my cruise the rest of the week because we went from a Saturday to a Saturday. But because they won, I was in a good mood. That just made the trip even better. I could be in a happier mood from that. Um, and then from there, okay, once the game was done, was able to eat and do all the other stuff we needed to do. At the very end of it, when we came back, interestingly enough, Michigan played at Nebraska the following week when we got back, and it was a night game, so I didn't have to worry about it as we were, on the ship or anything like that. But later on, we were at my grandparents' house and watching it, and they won, but it was an incredibly tight, last second type of game. Um, they won nonetheless. And and actually, come to think of it, when we got off the ship, me and my dad borrowed my uncle's truck, and went up to Gainesville from Orlando area or Port Canaveral area, I should say. Went up to Gainesville, caught a Florida Gators game. I did a podcast on that. You can check that out. And then the next day we went and saw the Jacksonville Jaguars, same truck. I did a podcast on that. Feel free to check it out. Came back both of those days and was able to catch a couple games. So one of my ideal vacations to be able to combine going on a cruise as well as going to games. I got to go to two. We were all originally supposed to head back home the day after that on Monday. My parents did. We ended up calling a little bit of an audible. We ended up going to Virginia instead to visit my father-in-law and sister-in-law who moved to Virginia during COVID from California, and we hadn't seen them since. At least I know I had. Maybe Selena went once, but at least I know I had. I hadn't seen their new place. I hadn't seen them since then. So we ended up actually going out to Virginia. And while I was there, I borrowed my father-in-law's car and went to a Virginia Tech Hokies game. I have a podcast on that. Feel free to check that out too. And that ended up concluding the trip after that. So nice trip, and was able to combine going on a cruise as well as going to games, which I pretty sure, if I remember correctly, when I interviewed for Carnival to become a personal vacation planner, and they asked me like what would be your perfect vacation, I mentioned that going on a cruise because I love cruises, going to games because I love going to games, part of my hobby, and I was able to do just that on Carnival, one of Carnival's biggest shifts, and being able to do that plus not one, not two, but three games. which was pretty incredible for me. So excellent vacation. And once I said, or like I said, it holds a special place in my heart because that was my mom's final cruise that she got to go on. And the Carnival Mardi Gras will always have a special place in my heart, even though they got its pros and cons, which I'll eventually get to. Um, but that always has a special place in my heart, regardless. Now, the Carnival Mardi Gras is part of uh, a certain class that there's a few different ships that are exactly the same as it. Celebrations one, Carnival's one, and now I'm blanking on the other one. But basically, you've been on one, you've been on all of them, and they are a nice cruise ship to go on. That's for sure. If you like having a big ship to go on with a lot of stuff to do, I think you'll definitely like the Carnival Mardi Gras. Now, let me talk about a few different things on it. The first one I'll talk about was entertainment. I'll start with that. The entertainment was good. You know, they have live shows. Obviously, in their main theater, they're going to have live shows with singers and dancers, and of course, they were really good. I thought they had a good ensemble, um, and I remember even kind of meeting maybe a few of them, one of the singers and a couple of the dancers at one of the buffets, and they were nice. Talked to them for a few minutes, and and I remember them eating some kind of dessert. It was that was kind of funny, like because they're all in such good shape. I mean, I feel like singers and dancers are almost like athletes to a degree, where they got to be in tip-top shape for their craft or their profession. So it's kind of funny seeing them eat dessert. But I mean, obviously they can eat dessert and work it off, you know. Um, so it was kind of cool to run into them. I did enjoy the production shows from it. Nothing that I remember that stood out specifically as regards. I want to say one of the things that I remember was a song from Hairspray. I thought they did a pretty good job with that. That's kind of about it. Um, that was it. But yeah, I mean, nothing that was bad either. So definitely, I would give them you know, a nice little good passing grade for that. And they got the main theater that's up in the front, just like anything else. Now they have something a little unique on this class of ship too, the Mardi Gras celebration. The other one, Jubilee, is that the third one? Maybe it's the Jubilee. Um, they have something called the Grand Central. It's either Grand Central or Grand Central Theater, one of the two, and it's kind of like in the middle of the ship on the starboard side, and it is a theater that spans three decks, from deck six, seven, and eight. And you can be on deck six, or right behind you, you've got like a cafe. You can be on deck seven, you can be on deck eight, and you can look down and see it. And right behind it is a bunch of glass. So during the day, you can obviously look out and see the ocean, see the water, the sea, whatever. And at night, you probably can't, but it's a little darker. Although sometimes they might close it somehow, so it's not, you know, I say interrupting the distracting you maybe from the performance. I feel like they did maybe close it at times, but there was other times that it was open. And that was kind of neat. They had uh, regular shows there as well. Different performers that would go there for different shows, different acts, live music, whatever. And I remember one of the times, and I want to say it may have been one of the days that we were stopped somewhere at one of the ports. And like I said, we didn't get off. We ended up staying on the entire time. And I think that it was maybe during that time because they were doing like a rehearsal there for not for the Mardi Gras, but for a different ship. It was going to be a new show that wasn't being done at the moment, and they were rehearsing it, kind of ironing out the kinks of it, and they were going to take that show and put it on a different ship, and they were practicing it there. We ended up just kind of watching, kind of listening. It was kind of enjoyable to kind of see it, and I thought it was going to be something that we were going to see maybe that night or whatever, like they were rehearsing for us. And then another guy that was there, he had like his laptop out. He was kind of working. We met him, and he kind of works in the production aspect of it. I don't remember exactly what he did, but he kind of worked in the production aspect of it. And yeah, he was telling us that what they were doing, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So we were kind of getting a sneak peek of this new show, and he was really nice, being able to talk with him. And it was just an interesting. It was an interesting, unique thing to have like your main theater with the main shows there, but then have like another just almost as big theater in the middle of the ship to be able to have its own shows as well, and to be able to look out into the sea, out on the windows, and be able to see the water behind it. It's a pretty unique advantage point with that, and I liked that vantage point, not advantage point, vantage point. So there was that, and then let's see here. So and then close by there is also like I mentioned, there was a cafe, but if you went towards the aft of the ship, from there, you would eventually hit another lounge that was near the elevators. That they also would play live music in that lounge too. And I have a little story with that. So when I was at the beginning of the ship, so we left on a Saturday. I think this was the next day on Sunday. Um, when looking at things that were going on throughout the ship, every day there's going to be an itinerary of things that are going on. And one of them I came across that said New Age Trio, and it referred to these three violinists that were playing. And I remember kind of laughing to myself, kind of joking to myself, like, who'd want to see that? And I thought nothing of it at all. And I scoffed at it, you know. And that was like maybe like on the first day, looking over things. Well, anyways, fast forward like the next day on Sunday, and we had been sailing that day. I don't believe we went anywhere. I think it was a sailing day that day, day at sea. Anyways, my goal was I was trying to head back to the back of the ship, the aft of the ship, because there was going to be like Sunday night football, and I wanted to watch it. So I was trying to make my way back there. No one else wanted to come with me. Mom wasn't feeling good. Selena didn't really want to go. Dad didn't either. I forgot what they were doing, but it was just me. It was a little bit later on in the evening too. They might have just been tired. Anyways, so I'm making my way back there, and as I'm making my way back there, going through the stairs, elevator. I forgot which one I was taking. Maybe it was the stairs, but I hear this music, and it sounded so nice, so pretty, and I was like, oh, I recognize that song, and it was the song Hotel California by who sings it? Who does the Hotel California? I don't remember now. Is it the Eagles? It's not even a song that I care for. Selena loves the song. I don't care for it. It's not my song, but I recognized it and I really liked it. And I out of nowhere, like a moth to a flame, I find myself just going up there and just mesmerized by it. It was the three violinists, the New Age trio that I in my mind scoffed at and laughed at, like who would want to hear it? And now here I am mesmerized by them because they were playing it so wonderfully and I loved it. Now I am a sucker for live stuff, live music, live games, live shows. If I were to hear it on a CD, maybe it wouldn't be as mesmerizing, um, but for what I was able to hear live, I fell in love with it instantly. Instantly fell in love with it. And again, this wasn't even a song that I cared for. Hotel California is not even a song that I enjoy that much, in all honesty. And if you like it, no offense to you, but it's just not my cup of tea. But I love when they played it and instantly fell in love with them. And I was like, you know what? I know my mom would love this. And and I told her all about it. I figured Selena may like it because she kind of likes artsy stuff. And she did. And I think my dad enjoyed it too. But my mom also fell in love with them as well, just like I did. I eventually went and showed eventually got them and went to one of their shows because they did different shows, different days, and I basically followed them. Like okay, they got a show at this theater at this time. We're gonna go listen to it, or at least I'm going to. My mom would do the same thing. She fell in love with them too. I don't know if they're still on. I don't know if they're still on the Carnival Mardi Gras because they switch around entertainers and staff so they have different contracts and all that. I don't know if they're still on the Mardi Gras, but if they are, or if you ever come across New Age Trio on the Mardi Gras or any other carnival ship, uh, just know that they are incredible at their act. There's three of them. There's one guy, two girls. I kind of like tried following them on social media, and And I think one of the girls may have gotten either left, got replaced. I don't know because one of them I didn't recognize after a while. Like, who's this girl? So I don't know what happened to one of them. But anyways, fantastic. What I initially laughed at, thought, who would like that, ended up being me. I loved it. I loved them. I thought they were wonderful and would highly recommend seeing them. If you allow me to book you a trip on Carnival and they're on there, yeah, feel free to listen to them. I think they're fantastic. So that was them. That was part of it, the entertainment, and I did eventually go back and watch football too, just to finish that part of the story. Another thing that they had in the front theater. I think they just did it one night. Did they do it 2 nights? I think it was just one night. Again, I'm going back like 5 years now, which is crazy to think about 4 or 5 years. They had Family Feud, and I don't recall if they did it one night or two, or they had multiple shows. They may have, come to think of it. Well, anyways, whether this was done in one show or two, I don't remember, but I remember watching at least twice, two different games. And again, whether or not it was just back to back or they were separate shows, I can't remember. But anyways, the first one that I saw, two families going at it, one family wins. Now at the end of when you beat the other team, you get the fast money round and you got to answer 5 questions within 30 seconds or something like that, trying to get 200 points. This family sent their two worst players that throughout the game when they were playing the game never got anything right. And I'm thinking that's an interesting strategy. Why are you sending your two worst players? Is it just because so they can have fun? That's I don't know what that strategy was, but they sent their two worst players. Not shockingly enough, they didn't win. All right, whatever. Again, that's your family, your strategy. The next game that I watched, the two families that go at it, the winning team sent their two best players, the one that got the most. And not surprisingly enough, they did win. It's like it's not rocket science. If you send your best players at the end and you give yourself the better chance to win the thing. I thought that was funny. It wasn't my family. What do I care? I didn't win anything, but just watching it, just kind of just struck me as funny. Like, why are you sending your two worst players at the end of the game to try to win it all for you? Whatever. And I don't even know what they won. Did they win money or onboard credit or something? Who knows? I don't know what they won. So they did Family Feud there. I've never seen Family Feud on any other cruise ship. I think that's maybe a little bit unique to Carnival. So that's kind of cool. Worth checking out if you like Family Feud. They did have a video. I can't show it. I don't think I can show it for copyright reasons. But they did have a video before they started, and it was Steve Harvey, and all these just like funny, not bloopers, but just funny things that have happened in Family Feud over the years in different episodes. And they just, one long video of it all. It was hilarious too. So definitely worth checking out if you like Family Feud. And then too, they also had an ice carver at one point. Kind of stuck around and watched him for a little bit, but I didn't stay and watch him the whole thing. I only remember him coming out once. They had their fun squad or something like that. They got a bunch of it's like a team of people that it's not like one cruise director, which I think they did have a cruise director too, but they also have, I think it's like the fun squad or just a bunch of different guys that host different things. I think that's what they call 'em. I mean, I think every cruise line is going to have that to a degree. Different people that take on different activities and such. And I think they were called the fun squad. Well, anyways, one guy, he kind of reminds me of this dude that I listened to it on a podcast for Michigan football. I don't think it's him. I'm pretty certain 99% it's not him, but his voice sounds exactly the same. He was kind of funny, and I remember them out there. And then the ice carver. It was just the one time. I don't recall it being more than once. Um, Whatever he carved out. Um, I don't even know what he carved out. Like I said, I didn't stick around for the whole thing. Whatever it was, it's still kind of cool though. I mean, to be able to make some art out of ice, that's no easy feat to be able to do that. Yeah, so there was the ice carver. So those are some of the different entertainment, I guess you could say, on the ship that I can recall, and uh, all of it, uh, all of it combined makes for a good time. They had a lot of different things um, to be able to see and watch and enjoy throughout the entire time. So there's that. Now let me move on to some of the attractions. Um, Attractions can kind of almost be like entertainment, but a little bit different. Obviously, with attractions, you're going to have some things that are pretty much like on almost every ship, right? They've got their pools, their hot tub, but they also have a nice, like almost water park, the splash zone type of thing in addition to just regular pools. Some cruise lines you go on, you got your pool, you got a couple hot tubs. It's there, nothing too fancy. But this one has that plus some extra stuff too. And in addition to your regular pools and hot tubs and this big splash zone area, I guess you could say. They also had at least three big water slides, maybe four. And I think I remember going down. It was if it was three, I went on two. If it was four, I went on three. And it could be four because I remember going up there. You walk up there, bunch of twisty, curvy type of water slides that if you're a water slide person, you'd love it. I did it more so just to say that I did it, and it was like I'm not a humongous person getting into the pool. When I was little, yes, nothing bothered me when I was little, but as an adult now, there's many reasons I don't feel like going into a pool. But I wanted to do it just to say that I did it, and we did it on again one of the times when we were stopped at a port. A lot of people were gone. Not a lot of people were on the ship, so I felt like it was a little easier to do it. And I was having fun with it. But there was one, a lot of them you walked up to it, there's the hole, go in, go on down. But there's another one where it's almost like you're kind of standing up or something like that. And it kind of like the bottom goes out from beneath you and you go down that way. That one I couldn't get myself to try that one. I'm sure it's fun, and if you like water slides, I'm sure you will love that one, no doubt, because that looked pretty exciting. But it was just a little bit too much for me. I didn't try that one, but I did try the other water slides too. Different lengths, different whatever. And I remember I trying it head first and trying it on my back, both of them, and and I'm not great in the water, so like I always have to hold my nose, and I didn't have any um, goggles on, and sometimes I would it would something would slow me down or whatever. There was all kinds of things, but I mean I still had a little bit of fun with it though, so that was not bad. And again, if you're into going into the pool or doing water slides, I'm sure you'd like it. So they got that. And then outside of all the pool stuff, um, in addition to it, they also have an obstacle course, which I thought was really fun to try, and didn't cost anything. And there was all kinds of you harness yourself up because you're up on um, you're elevated up top, and you're going through I don't know different things. At one point there's I think there's two different ones that you can go down. They kind of go like in a big square. Um, and as you're on deck, you can look up and see people doing it, and whatever they might be. I do know one of the stretches. One of them is like a little bit of a zip line, and that was fun. Um, and just other things you're going over. Whatever. Like I said, it's an obstacle course, and I think when we went up there, there wasn't a whole lot of people there, so we may have done it when again other people were out. At a port. Um, but that if you have the physical ability, that's fun. That's fun. Try that. It didn't cost anything, which I really liked. And then you got mini golf. There's, I believe it was 18 holes too. And that was closer to the back of the ship. And I love one thing that I really liked about the mini golf course there, and other cruise lines have mini golf too. But the one thing I really liked about the mini golf course was I didn't feel like the wind was taking the ball all over the place. That happens a lot. You're trying to putt and it's like super windy and you can't really play. You're kind of out there just messing around at that point. But here you could actually have like a decent game. Um, you could actually try to play 18 holes And you don't, I didn't feel the ship rocking too badly. I didn't notice a bad breeze that kind of affected it. Um, and so yeah, we had mini golf, no charge. You just go up, pick up your clubs and a ball, and start playing. And also too, another thing I loved with it is the way that they positioned it back there. I mean, you just have this beautiful 360 panoramic view of everything around you. So it's really nice. And this is one of the things I'll tell people. Like if you were to go play mini golf 7 days a week with a family of four, you're probably spending, let's say, $10 a player. It's $40 times seven. You're spending almost $300 just playing mini golf. Going on a cruise, it's included. There's this $300 savings there. One of the many reasons why I love going on a cruise, and how it's just you get your best bang for your buck. So yeah, there's the mini golf course. That's another attraction. And then they also had a roller coaster too. This was the reason my mom wanted to go on the Mardi Gras. She wanted to try the roller coaster. She didn't get a chance to. But the roller coaster, only ship at sea that has a roller coaster. Well, three, like of that class, right? The Mardi Gras, Jubilee, and Celebration. Are the only ones that have a roller coaster on it. And you kind of like, you don't. It's not like a roller coaster you're locked in and it goes around the track. You actually kind of move. It's almost like, what I want to say. I feel like you're almost on a, a jet ski going around a track. That's what it kind of feels like. Now, obviously, you are strapped in. There's no loops. Um, you'll go kind of up and around, and you get a couple laps on it. We got to try it once. Now, when we tried it, this was on the very last day, and it wasn't when everyone was off, which I thought that probably would have been best because there ended up being a lot of people. I should have tried it when everyone was gone. We went up there and had to wait like an hour to go on this thing. There were so many people there. They were all trying to do it. And I think, do we have to, now I'm trying to think if we had to like book a timing for it or not. Maybe not. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, there was a ton of people there that were going on it and had to wait. Now, all the other times where I'd seen it before, there was few people here and there. Um, Yeah, I think you did have to. I think you had to go on the app and like book the time or whatever, pay for the time. Um, but anyways, we didn't do it then, and we did it when everyone else was, and it took forever to get on it. But we did get to go on it, got to try it, and I'm sorry my mom didn't get to do it because that was like one of the main reasons she wanted to try the Mardi Gras was because of that. They did have um, they did have the actual whatever you want to call it, the seat or whatever, the jet ski. They did have it down there, and she tried getting on it, and she struggled with it. Uh, we we had to get help to get her off. So there was no way she was going to be able to go up there and get on the thing. Felt bad for her. And then I don't know if you, but that is one of their like main attractions, I guess you could say, when it comes to the Carnival Mardi Gras, is being able to have that roller coaster. And then finally, I don't know if you want to consider this an attraction. I thought it was kind of cool, kind of a neat little attraction myself. But outside of their Italian restaurant, they actually have like this little mini Cooper. How you get a ship or a car on a ship, I don't know. I'm sure you can do it. It's not too bad. But I thought that was kind of I'd never really seen that before. They had this little tiny car there. I don't remember if you can get in it. I think you could just like you can maybe stand by it or take pictures of it that way. Which I took a picture, but I didn't get in or anything. But I thought that was kind of cool to be able to see that. So that was some of the entertainment and then attractions as well. Now I'll move on to the food. Ton of food options, which I gotta say, I was impressed with it. I felt like we could have tried something different every day, which was nice, and it was pretty good too. It was good food. I don't recall eating anything that I was like, that's not great. For the most part, the stuff that we ate, I remember it being pretty good. Out of a lot of different types of themed restaurants, some of them are specialty where you got to pay, and then some of them are included, which are kind of nice. We ended up paying for two specialty restaurants, something that like we never do. We always just take the free stuff. But my mom wanted to try these places. I think they did treat us to one of them, and then we paid for the other one. But one of them that we went to was their steakhouse. I love steak, so that's cool with me. Fahrenheit. It's called Fahrenheit 555, and you get your salads, your steak, your side dishes, a dessert with it. And I remember always telling people when I was working at Carnival, if you have it, try it. Excuse me, their Wagyu steak is really good. And sure enough, yeah, it is delicious. Um, some big chunk of steak that would normally cost you so much money, you're getting not only that, but everything else included too, for less than what you would have to pay for just that steak. So it's a pretty good deal if you're into that. One of the things that was kind of a highlight for me when it came to that restaurant um, was the fact that they had this dessert. Dessert comes with it, which is really nice. But they have this dessert that everyone on the table has to agree to it. It can't just be for one person. They have to all agree to it. And I don't even remember what it was called, but they put down this board, and they start like putting all types of stuff on it. Um, all different kinds of, I don't even know what you want to call it, like chocolates and jellies and all kinds of like edible things, little balls of whatever they are that are filled with whatever's in it. I know this is sounding incredibly vague, but it is something that everyone has to get. Like, again, if one person wants chocolate cake and the rest of them want this, no go. They have to all agree to it, and it's so big and there's so much, and you all share it. And is the I don't know how to describe it exactly. Hopefully, you're getting an understanding of it, what I'm talking about. But that was so good. That was a highlight of eating at that steakhouse. And I love steak. I mean, I love sweets too. So it was a highlight of just in general, I suppose. But I I will never forget that, even though I can't describe it that great. And coming, hopefully it's coming across okay. Maybe give you a picture of it. Um, but yeah, that was fantastic. So that's Fahrenheit 555. And then another one that we ate at was that we paid for was Bonsai Teppanyaki. Uh, this is one of those places where it's kind of like the guy is cooking the food for you and doing a show, flipping shrimps in his hat and fling it in your mouth, that type of show, right? He never did that, but he did a bunch of things. Now, when it comes to that type of meal, that type of restaurant, there are restaurants that do that. I had been to one once years ago, and I went with a group of people. One guy was super excited about going, and he was talking it up, and the guy, whoever was working it, did an awful job. He did nothing. I mean, he at one point he kind of shaped the rice into a heart. That was it, and he kind of maybe did it a little fast. He may have flipped a shrimp once, and that was it. I mean, the guy did nothing, and then he did the wrong order, and we were like, well, we'll still take it. No, no, you didn't pay for it. He just threw out the food. Like, why wouldn't you at least? I mean, even if he did it wrong, it's just let them have it. It was not a good experience at all. And even the guy that was hyping it up was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was awful." So I didn't have like that great of an impression about that type of restaurant. Um, but we were going to go to it, and they serve, I mean, throughout the course, many different things within it, and it was very good. And this guy was really good. He was flipping stuff and doing all kinds of tricks with it, and he was really impressive. I thought he had some really nice skill. I can't remember the guy's name to give him a shout out, but the food was real tasty, and there wasn't like this humongous portion of everything, but definitely when you finished, you definitely felt full, and it was really good. Interestingly enough, as I mentioned, when we got back, and eventually we went to Virginia to visit my father-in-law and sister-in-law, they took us to a restaurant that was like that. And similar to like the first experience, the guy just wasn't as good. He was sweating all over the place, making all kinds of jokes, and with every joke, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. It wasn't funny, and it was The food was okay. And I mean, I appreciated my father-in-law being willing to take us to there. That was a nice gesture on his part. But compared to what we just had on the Carnival Mardi Gras, not even close. Not even close. So if it's in your budget and you want to try Bonsai's Teppanyaki or Fahrenheit 555, I'd recommend both of them. I think they're wonderful experiences, delicious food, and I think you would enjoy it if that type of food is up your alley. Some people don't like steak, or some people don't. Whatever, I don't know. But if it is, I think you would like it. I enjoyed it. And then one more thing that I paid for. Now there's another place called Emerald's Bistro, 1396. Um, Stuff that Emerald has, and I walked by it a bunch of times. I actually very near one of the main dining rooms. Um, and there was actually, oh, man, I can't remember her name, but there was one lady. She was really friendly. We'd always be getting to talk to her. Um, and at one point, I broke down and bought something, and I want to say it was like a specialty kind of crepe. I got it for like a breakfast item. Was it like French toast crepes or something like that? Something that was really delicious. I only just bought it the one time, and they had other things that looked pretty good on the menu, but that was the only thing that I tried. Um, so you may like Emerald's Bistro too. Um, if whatever they had, like I want to say it was more of like in their French Quarter, so they had more of like a New Orleans flavor, or that type of stuff. So if you like that type of food, you probably would like it. And then didn't get to try them, but there was other specialty type of things. One of them was Rudy's Sea Grill. I don't even recall seeing it. We probably did walk by it, but more than likely a seafood place. Bonsai Sushi, if you like sushi. Again, we didn't try that either. And then the Seafood Shack, which that one, not necessarily a restaurant, more of like outside by the street eats, which I'll talk about in a second. Um, that one did appeal to me, and they had a lobster roll that I was very tempted to get because I've only had a lobster roll once when I was a flight attendant and had a layover in Maine, and got a lobster roll at my hotel. It was just amazing, and I've never had one since. So I was tempted to get that. I never did. There were so many other options, and I just never ended up getting to it. That one did look interesting. I mean, I'm sure the other ones, even though I didn't try, I'm sure they were good too. There was I'll talk about street eats. Street eats, like these little different. They're on deck near the pool. You just go up to them, and they might have like burger and fries, or they might have I don't know, popcorn, shrimp, whatever. They wide variety of different things, and they change up like almost every day. So if you miss something one day, you probably aren't getting it the rest of the day. So you may want to go just to try, just to sample it. If you like me, try and sample it. And there was plenty of things I didn't get to try, and then there are things I did. But amongst that, that one always had a wide variety. You go up, grab it, and head on out and eat it. That was pretty good. That was kind of like a grab and go almost kind of thing. Not something you sat down. Obviously, you could take it and sit down by the pool or whatever, but it wasn't a sit down restaurant type of thing. The street eats. And if I remember correctly, the seafood shack was kind of like that. I don't remember if it was exactly with it, or they were a little separate, or they were all together. I can't remember, but it was that type of grab and go kind of thing. Let's see here. So there was that, and then one of them, obviously, Guy's Burgers, Guy's Fury's Burgers, best burgers. I will give them. So far, I have not tried one that is better than Guy Fury's Burgers when it comes to a burger at sea. A close second, surprisingly, was Margaritaville at sea. Their burgers were just underneath that, just underneath it. But I'm still going to give top notch to Guy's Fury's Burgers. They're on all Carnival cruise ships. They're on Mardi Gras. It was when we got on the ship and I'm watching the football game. We were right there in front of them, and is that what I got when we got on? That may have been what I first ate too. Come to think of it, when we got on there, delicious burgers, delicious fries, everything. Definitely worth getting a Guy's Fury's Burger. It's worth going on Carnival just to try a Guy's Fury's Burgers. Now, Guy's had another thing. Guy's Pig and Anchor Smokehouse and Brewhouse. We got to try a dinner there one night. Got some barbecue. I love barbecue food, right? And being able to go there, get some ribs and whatever other barbecue stuff was on there, maybe some mac and cheese and um, I don't know, green beans, whatever else they had. I thought that was really good, real tasty. That was near the back of the ship. That's actually where I went to go see that football game that Sunday night. It was right behind there. This guy right on the back of that because it's at the back of the ship. Um, is where I was able to go and get to see the football game. My dad said he didn't care for it that much. I was in opposition to that. I actually did like it. I thought they were really tasty. And if I remember correctly, they had the ice cream right there. Although I think I got some sort of cake or something with them. But now here's something interesting though. When we went, that didn't cost anything. We actually went up there and were able to get it as normal. Looking it up because I was kind of curious. Now it shows that there is a fee for that one. So that may now be considered specialty dining that you have to pay for. And if that's the case, boo, that stinks. But I liked it, and to pay for it, I think it's worth it. But that's up to you if you like barbecue. And that was all the specialty things to pay for that I can think of. And then other things that were included, I did mention, guys, Fury Burgers, the street eats. There is one restaurant called Shebang, which is Mexican and Chinese food. And we ended up going there twice. One night I got Mexican, one night I got Chinese. Now you think the sound of it sounds like it could be like fusion food of somehow combining Mexican and Chinese. Not really. You think it is, but it's not. They may have something that is, but I don't recall seeing anything. But it is like there's stuff that you would see on a Mexican menu, and then there's stuff that you'd see on a Chinese menu. Different things. So we actually ate there twice, and one day I got some Mexican stuff, and one day I got Chinese stuff, and both were really good. That is included and worth trying. Then they've got their Italian restaurant that is included as well. It was then, and apparently still is now, Casina del Capitano, and that was actually where we uh, had our very first dinner was there. And the very first dinner we had, and obviously the first food I had was guys, um, which was really good. But uh, to be able to go there and have this Italian dinner, it was really tasty. And obviously, I mean, I'm excited for food, and to be able to get that right away uh, was pretty delicious, and I was so excited to be there and have it. Um, yeah, really tasty, really good. That's also where they had the little Mini Cooper out there in the front of the restaurant too. Yeah, definitely worth trying that if you like Italian food. I really liked it. And then I guess you could say, save the best for last. And I say, for me, the best for last for me. Out of all this good, delicious food that I'm talking about, the thing that stood out the most to me that is underrated and does not get talked about at all is Shaq's Big Chicken. Shaquille O'Neal, the former basketball player, who I may even be the godfather of the Carnival Mardi Gras. Every cruise ship has a godfather or godmother or something like that. He may be for the Carnival Mardi Gras. Or he's at least for one of them. He's got like a partnership with Carnival. Anyways, he's got a chicken restaurant. It's not a restaurant. It's more of like you go up, you very similar to guys. Go up, get your food, and head on out. Not a sit down place. And yeah, this is Shaq's Big Chicken. Um, I loved it. And I remember seeing it in that video that I mentioned to you, and I was like, okay, that'd be worth interesting. Fried chicken joint, Chick-fil-A and all these other. There was a couple years ago it came out like it was like this chicken where everyone was coming out with a chicken sandwich, and whether it's Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, McDonald's, they're all coming out with something. And it's like, all right, they all have a good one. And I went on this before that little chicken war came out. But anyways, going up to there, they had this one called MDE, Most Delicious Ever. And I kind of laughed at that, like that's a little presumptuous. Everyone thinks they got their best, even though, like I said, that war came a little bit later on. But everyone thinks they got the best chicken. But I went and tried it. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it. Had to get it again another time. I absolutely love that sandwich. And when it said most delicious ever, I thought they were being presumptuous. I laughed at it. Afterward, I'm like, nope, I agree. I agree. This was uh, one of the best chicken sandwiches I've ever had. So much, like I said, I had to go back again, try to fit it in because I was there's so many. It's like doing a schedule for every day. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try that. I had to go back and try it again, and I think I got some like sweet tea with it or something like that too, or lemonade. I can't remember. Um, yeah, it was amazing, and it's so underrated, maybe not talked about. Like I never hear people talk about it. I hear everyone always talk about Guy's Furious Burgers, and rightfully so, but I never hear anyone talk about Shaq's Big Chicken. And one of the things I think is maybe one of the reasons it's less known is because, well, at the time I'd have to look into it if they've added more, but at the time they only were on those three ships, the Mardi Gras, Celebration, and Jubilee. They were only on that class of ships. They weren't on all the rest of them. Guy's Furious Burgers is on all of them. So everyone, if you go on a Carnival cruise, you get to try Guy's Furious Burgers, but you don't always get to try Shaq's Big Chicken. So that's probably one of the main reasons why. But it is so unbelievably good. I think I heard that recently we even had one of those restaurants open up here in Michigan. I don't remember where. It's not exactly around the corner, but if that's the case, I definitely have to go find it somewhere and try it again. I don't know if or when I'll get to go back on the Mardi Gras or one of those other ones that are in that same class, but so I don't know if I'll get to try it on the ship. I might have to go to the restaurant. But yeah, that is you give it a try, and you may not like it. I don't know. Everyone's got different taste buds, but to me, that was one of the best chicken sandwiches that I ever had, and my favorite thing that I ate on the Carnival Mardi Gras, Shaq's Big Chicken. Um, yeah, so that was all of that. And as I'll briefly just touch on our cabin. It was we were in an interior room, nothing special with it. I mean, when I say nothing special, um, that stood out to me or anything, it was fine. It was kind of small and cramped, and his reason is because it's a big ship, and there's there's pros and cons to the Mardi Gras. One of the pros, it is a big ship. Um, you got thousands of people on it. If you're excited about that, like having a big ship, the thought of being on there with I don't know 7, 8,000 people, however many there is, six, seven, what is it, something to that effect. You can like that, and with it, there's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of fun activities on board. There's a lot of food choices, a lot of food. Definitely one of the pros about it is the size and the amount of people and the stuff to do and the options. On the cons list, because it's so big, they cramp a lot of people in it. This rooms felt a little smaller, not tiny, like super small, but they weren't they just seemed a little smaller than maybe normal. And because of it, uh, they're they can be a little bit more pricier. The Carnival Mardi Gras can be a little bit more pricier than some. And I feel like they try to, maybe it was because they were coming out of Carnival and they were trying to recoup so much money, but they charge for a lot more things than I thought that they were going to. Um, Obviously, there's a few restaurants in there that we couldn't get to, but then even now to know that they didn't charge for guys pig and anchor, now they do, you know. And then I mentioned like where Grand Central Theater is. There's like a little cafe behind it. Some ships I've gone on, you go to like little cafes like that. They got sweets and treats and everything. You can take them. No, everything was paid for. Emerald's Bistro, everything was paid. That wasn't included in it. And going around, just you just saw a lot of different things. It seemed like already you're paying a lot to go on on this ship, and then nickel and dime you for all the other stuff. So I didn't care for that. And then talking to some other Carnival people. When I say Carnival people, I mean people that uh, go on Carnival a lot, and they were on that ship. They didn't care for that as well. So that's something that's kind of a con for me. Um, and then the entertainment, nothing wrong with the entertainment itself. I've blown reviews on that. That Grand Central thing is very unique, very interesting. And then having that lounge right behind it, um, it just you can hear them. If you're listening to one show, you can hear the other. That's kind of a little bit of a con, I guess you could say. Nothing horrible, but just a little bit of something like you can. I don't know if they didn't think about that or what, but it's not soundproof, so you can be in one show and be hearing that, but you're also hearing the other. And then as regards the roller coaster, again, you got to pay for that. It's not included. I didn't care for that either. And you have to go all the way up to get it, which I'm fine with doing. But my mom, she didn't have the ability to go up there with her health. She barely, actually, she barely had the ability to get on and off the thing. But she would, even if she could, she couldn't get up there. There's no elevator to go up there. You have to walk the stairs. So if you can't do stairs, you're not able to get onto it. And it only lasts like, I mean, you go two laps, and depending on how fast you go, you could be over and done with in like 30 seconds. To be able to pay that much, not that it was super expensive, but to pay for it and then have it for only like like around 30 seconds. I mean, it's cool, but then you feel like it's worth it. So those are some of the things where it's kind of like a little bit of cons to me when it came to the Mardi Gras. Nothing that I wouldn't be like, well, I'm never going on this ship and I don't recommend it. No, I just like to be open and honest. This was my experience with it. This is what I noticed, and I'll relay the information onto you because I like to try to be upfront, honest about things. But there was a lot of pros to it too, and as I mentioned, the size of it, the food options. I love going. Um, to eat on a ship, right? So there was a lot of that, a lot to do. We never got off the ship because of it. At some point, I remember my wife did get the Wi-Fi package for a couple days, just so because we weren't going off it, she wanted to be able to do a little bit more on her phone and tablet. And with it, I was able to download like some podcasts because the Michigan's podcast since they won that game. I was excited about that, and all together had a nice time. And even with that New Age trio, I think I even did get like one of their CDs because I really liked them a lot, and definitely was blown away by the fact that they were so good, and I was not expecting that. I was two things that I kind of laughed at that ended up I had to eat humble pie with. It was New Age trio and Shaq's Big Chicken, the most delicious ever. It's like thinking it's one thing, but ended up it was the other. Um, and yeah, and as I mentioned, the Carnival Mardi Gras will always have a special place in my heart. The last time I got to go on a cruise with my mom, and one thing I'll tell you about my mom, wonderful person, and she initially did not want to go on a cruise. For the longest time, my dad begged her and begged her and begged her and begged her, and she didn't want to go. And I'll tell I'll tell this story to people that have never been on a cruise. Um, but she finally agreed to go on one because her best friend and her husband were going on a cruise and they were going to do like a couples thing together. So she finally agreed to go on one. And then by the time she died, she had over 20 cruises under her belt, and that Mardi Gras one was the last one. And I tell people, just give it a try. If you hate it, never do it again. But if you love it, you might find something that you love to do vacation wise for the rest of your life. And that was my mom. She ended up finding something that she loved to do for the rest of her life. And like I said, this one was for her. She wanted to go on the Mardi Gras, and she found a good deal on it. And we ended up going, and I'm glad we did. Special place in my heart, good memories, and I hope that you could have a good memory with it too. And if this is something that you do want to try yourself, I highly recommend it. I would love to be able to book that for you. And if you do, reach out to me. There are different ways that you can reach out to me. One, social media. You can look up either Instagram or Facebook. It's the same handle, Jay's Paradise Travels. Jays, no apostrophe in there. Make it a little easier for you. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can reach out to me, message me, and be happy to get with you that way. Or you can email me. My email address is j.paradise_travels@gmail.com. jay.paradise_travels@gmail.com. Feel free to email me. We can keep in touch that way. Also, if you were looking to the description down below, if you're on YouTube here listening to this, watching this, you have different links there that you can go to. One of my links is to my calendar that you can book an appointment with me, and we can set up a phone call or a Zoom meeting. We could get together that way, or you can get on my website and then reach out to me through that way as well. So there's a variety of options, but feel free to reach out to me and share with other people too, family, friends. I'd love to be your travel agent, your family and friends travel agent. Try to make this world a happier place, one vacation at a time. And this is how I can do it. So feel free to reach out. If you did like this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, share it with others. Write some comments down below. Please let me know about your experiences. If you've been on the Mardi Gras or a Carnival or anything that I touched on. If there was some experience that you have, I would love to hear about it and talk to you about it. So please write it on in the comments there down below, and do all those things that keep podcasters going. And for myself, trying to continue to build a business here and get my name out there to as many people as possible. So please feel free to do all that. Hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you took something away from it, enjoyed it, and hope to be able to talk with you and get you on a cruise one of these days. Thank you again for listening, and I will talk to you all again later. Take care. Bye bye.